up there.
I just have one question. Why is water 500 last year was 0?
Because that's a new expense, charge for water.
Some buildings are, some are. Last year I brought it up.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
water here in Mount one place?
It's just one of the bills that we get, so we,
Okay.
yeah, we work it into the budget. We do consume a certain amount of water at the station. We also consume a certain amount of water to training. For sure. Yeah, and in pre-employment, we've increased a little bit. We're at 1,600. The physicals are anywhere from 600 to $1,000. It depends on which vendor we end up using, the time it was available. And that's pre-employment physical that's needed to make sure people don't have pre-existing conditions, make sure that somebody's physically fit for the job before we hire them. I guess the next page, that's it for my changes. Anybody have any other questions? I also want to say thanks for the support of the finance on our capital project for the air packs. We've received our air packs and we're working on filling out the rest of our orders for that. But we have our air packs and we've begun training on them and we'll probably have them in service this week.
How long do you think they'll last?
We've gotten some of them in excess of 25 years out of our last pack, so I would assume that these should go another 25 years, 25 years, yeah.
Do you have any idea of how they came in price wise against budget? Budgeted like on ED?
Yep, they came in pretty close to our budget, but we do have some funds left over that we're gonna use for support equipment for our air packs. Some rapid intervention equipment. I think that was also on the description, and we're also working on procuring a fill station so that we can fill our own bottles in town here, so we don't have to rely on surrounding communities to fill our air bottles either after a fire or after training.
Chief, one more thing from you. Is there any more capital projects at the fire station we have on our horizon? We have some big ticket numbers coming up, senior center and Franklin Tech and the highway garage and the elementary school. When are we getting a fire truck? So we're 5 years away or?
There is one in the capital plan. I don't have the capital plan in front of me. I know it's not next year, but that is one of the things that we're working on, some grant options for too. And as well as, trying to do some more station improvements and have better storage for our equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get you.
So there's nothing like next year?
Nothing next year.
Okay. Fire trucks are expensive.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Very expensive, yeah.
Is the pre-employment physicals being put in the individual budget?
No, that's what have you always paid it out of your fire department budget? Because we have an account for pre-employment physicals that we do highway and police out of.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we should move yours into that.
Discussion, I think, in prior years.
Yeah.
I thought we do pre-employment physicals for the fire and highway, but the larger amount, the other physical, that's cost more, I thought came out of your budget. And I thought that was
So
discussed.
the last two pre-employments that we did, I think came out of my budget.
Yeah,
And I think the amount that was budgeted wasn't sufficient to cover them. The firefighter pre-employment, I think, is significantly more expensive than the other departments.
But why wouldn't we want to just put it into our pre-employment and just bump that account up? Or so that we.
discussion, I think it was when you were in doing interim TA.
I remember that the pre-employment physicals used to be very reasonable. But lately they have been, and I think JP may have asked that they include additional items that we used to just have a fitness for duty.
Yeah.
Physical and a drug screening
That's
physical.
yes, correct.
And I think maybe JP had indicated he wanted something a little more extensive than just that.
As
So,
a prerequisite for the fire academy, they have a standard physical that they require. And so what we're requiring is just the same standard physical that
Yeah, I don't see any issue with you doing a more extensive test. I think from a budgeting standpoint, we just pay all of them out of one account.
Yeah, one
Fine with
bucket.
that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean then that you wouldn't be allowed to bring on somebody simply because the account's low. We do transfers,
Sure.
but I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have
For
a
it to be
problem.
unified.
I don't have a problem with that, and, you know, I'm also gonna try and pursue some, if we presume we do bring somebody new on board this year, there is some grant money out there, that might be potentially available for, creating our festivals as well, so that may not be an issue, so if you wanna move that into the,
I'll move it into the other one then.
yeah, that's fine.
Into the town buildings.
No, it's its own account
Oh,
called
You're right.
employment. It's in the.
I was looking for it.
It's in the unclassified.
yeah,
Physicals and tests, U3. Which we have budgeted at 3,000 right now.
Just change that to 4,600.
Yeah, but I'll revise and then we'll give you new sheets.
Okay,
Hopefully not 30.
so does anybody have any other questions for JP?
Thank you for all you do.
All right, thank you for your time and your support.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, now we're moving on to the rec commission. I don't see Chris here. You wanna do it or you wanna?
I can
Might have been.
I can walk through it,
It's on tab 7. And then CRS 2.
I believe for the most part, a lot of these are pretty much very minor increases. All of them really related to increased cost of materials, so here you see slightly higher increase on the fuel use, just because fuel costs are up. Water use, an increase of $25, again, cost of water, though it is our water. Electricity, a slight increase there over the current fiscal year. I would say the larger increase on the Hurley Park is simply for maintenance and repairs that they do to the park. And that's just an increase of 250.
Do you happen to know how the fee structure works? Did they ever consider?
As the revenue
Yes.
source, I do not know how that works. I don't know that breakdown. That does go into a separate revolving account.
Correct.
That they then can use for equipment as well, or it could be anything to maintain those programs.
I just wonder if the costs are going on with the fees ought to go up as well. Offset.
Yeah. Logical, but yeah, fortunately, no. And I don't know that detail, sorry. Otherwise, on the personnel line, last year, you might remember, we did increase the recreation coordinators' hours per week. And so there's no increase on the hours, it's simply the step and COLA being applied. So that's why there's a $419 increase on the personnel line.
What is it that the recreation coordinator coordinates?
The various youth programs that we operate out of through recreation, as well as managing the what's it called, facility rental of Hurley. And then Chris also does a lot of the work. He is a member of the Recreation Commission, but he also does work on like trying to get the park expanded, working with the neighboring property owners. He's currently working with Caroline, our community development administrator, to find grant funding in order to plant trees that are required at Hurley Park. When we did the parking lot project, there was a requirement to add additional trees in along near the river. those have not been installed yet, so we need money, and so they're looking for grants to fund those trees for installation.
Who does the maintenance? Is it unemployed or do we hire someone to mow and so on?
Frontier, I think,
Here does
does
the mowing.
the mowing.
But-
Frontier does the mowing because they use the fields.
Storage is one of all fears to do all of the.
Yeah,
I was just wondering what the 12,000, was that to pay a vendor to mow the field every 2 weeks or something?
no, I'm pretty sure.
I know some of the money does go to like striping the fields and the
Okay.
baseball, that we do.
And then they bring
Burn
in,
in.
they have to bring in the springtime when they're getting the fields ready, they have to bring in, fresh
Oh, sure, it's a
soil and
lot.
stuff. And all that.
Yeah, there's often damage to the city.
I was just curious whether we did all that or we hired somebody.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of volunteer work.
Okay,
More so than others.
fantastic.
I've seen car tire tricks.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Donuts.
Okay, were there any other questions?
So the schools.
They're one of the main users, yes. Yeah.
No
Any
other
other-
questions? Okay. Okay, on the agenda, so the next up is highway, it's tab 10. PW1. Garrett, you're up.
Salaries, started with their average. I'm still kind of new at this, kind of catching up from the things in the past and bringing them forward. We do salary.
The salaries have already been put into their sheet.
Uniforms. General expenses. They are going up, price has gone up on the uniforms. I still think that we're gonna use them, maybe not as much, because they're getting a little weird with pricing and things that use on how they're doing it. They're obviously, they're just cost is up, fuel surcharges and everything, delivery and things. But if we can get out of that, that contract with them, I think it's probably a wise thing, yeah. Equipment rental. Doing up $500, just a standard price. You know, price increase for renting equipment is up. Phones stayed the same. 45. Street sweeping. So that's, street sweeping now is $250 an hour. The price is on way up. Yeah, I'm sure that's fuel surcharges and like everything, it's kind of crazy now. With the price of fuel being as high as it is. So I just got a number the other, today, actually, it was $250 an hour this week. So if we're gonna do.
What had it been?
In the, those are the kind of things I don't have, I mean. Cause I'm still. You had $1,000, 2025 was $1,017.
That's what he spent,
That's
yeah.
what he
Yeah, that,
What the actual number was,
yeah, what the hourly,
what was
Rate.
it? I
the
don't
current
know,
hourly rate?
it was definitely, he told me today, he said, we have to walk.
Well, yeah, no, but
I
I
don't
would
have
have that up from what?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the question.
I'm sure it's probably,
Do you sweep the roads every year?
yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, because you don't spread sand.
we don't use sand, but we use chip seal.
Just
I mean, just. You know, part of the public works is to have clean roads, town roads, things like that, I think it's a really good thing to do. Biking, walking, all that stuff on the town roads, biking especially.
Yeah.
Have a loose sand and gravel on the road.
I'm looking at the amount that was expended in 2025, and it's only $1,000, so 8,000.
Yeah, it seems we spent in 25 only 1,000, we budgeted 3,000 for the current year.
Correct.
To accommodate for an increase, but now you've exponentially increased it over the appropriation of the current year.
That's just how much sweeping you wanna do. And I mean, at the rates he gave me, it just seems like if we want, I mean, he spent $1,000 on it, so didn't do it. You know, he might have just done like a construction project, clean the roads up there. That,
I guess to Fred's point, then maybe looking at what we, based on the actual invoices that were paid in 2025, see what the hours were, the hourly rate. And then based on what your service provider is saying, what the new hourly rate is, does it actually work out to be an 800% increase? Is that right? Over 25? No, I'm talking about over 2025, not over 2026. Because at least 2025, we know what we really spent, where the 3,000 is simply what we appropriated in the current year, not how much we spent.
I can look into the number,
Yeah.
I mean, to see where it
Yeah,
was
or
last year.
talk to James and
That
see
would
what
be great.
bills to pay
Yeah,
for that.
it's just yeah, I mean, I guess my question is, where did you come up with an increase from 3,000 to 8,000?
To sweep the whole town.
I know, I get that,
Yeah, I'll look at the number.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that their hourly rate went up more than double.
Or maybe they just, what he said, maybe they just didn't sweep the whole town this past years, they just did parts, a little bit, or where they did a chip seal or something. Cause I could like, $1,000 buys 4 hours of sweeper, by the time he gets here, you're paying for the
Well,
port.
for,
Two
for
hours
at the new rate, or.
Yeah.
at the
for the new rate, so
at the previous rate.
it's $2,000 a day, damn gibberish.
But then I guess the question is, do we need to expand the number of roads? Or the road mileage that is being swept?
Well, like, what he just said just here, is 4 days reasonable to sweep the whole street? I don't know, I don't remember sweeper, it's if it takes 4 days to sweep the town, $8,000 is reasonable. If it's not, it takes 4 days, then it's not reasonable.
Well, I can tell you in the past that our street wasn't swept every day.
I don't think Keith swept the roads much, 'cause when they switched over to straight salt, they kind of stopped too, they spread sand everywhere. They get to cuff the edges back and sweep all the sand out from the end of the road into the street, and they come and suck it all up, they haven't done that.
And we had a lot of gravel. One time he was putting a lot of gravel down during the winter.
Yeah,
And I mean, my husband and I swept up piles of that, took it back to
Yeah.
him. I mean, literally.
so maybe the budget was big money expended because we didn't sweep the whole town,
Well,
that's what I'm getting at.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so if we want the whole town swept, this is what it costs. I don't know if it takes 4 days, I don't know how long it takes to sweep.
4 days is a good chunk of it.
4 days, it takes 4 days to do it, I don't know.
Definitely the mains and most of the sides, especially.
Okay. I know they don't go very fast.
Hmm.
And the streets are good. Okay,
You know, 1,000 on catch basin thing, that's just gonna be a fuel increase. So that too is prevailing wage. Catch basin cleaning, so that always goes up. That might even be a little under, might be more than that, but you just limit your days of doing it. We have a program now that just marking them down street by street, which ones are different, and there's not a ton of them in town. I mean, there's a lot, but not, you know, at the rate we're going, we do a couple streets at a time for a year, so. Because they're not all terrible. Oil and stone. So we gotta finish up some projects that are half complete. So we went up on that. These numbers here are based on what they call AC concrete, which is the actual makings of blacktop. So it's the oil you put down first and then spread the chip on top. So the AC is how all blacktop is estimated at, AC concrete. It's the virgin oil used to put on the ground. So with the price of fuel now going up, that's where the number comes from. It's a raw fuel.
So it's just, there's just more to do, or the price increase because of fuel costs?
So I got so last year it was 110 in place, so every ton was 110. But I bet you no one said yet what the number's gonna be, but if it's 140, I won't be surprised.
A 40% increase, 35% increase.
Because it's all based on fuel, it's based on oil,
So
Yeah, it's also
liquid asphalt.
liquid. Can you put a hard number on it?
So there could be a significant cost savings if the price of fuel comes
Yeah,
down as
it's down,
quickly as
absolutely.
it went
Yeah.
up.
I like that.
I don't see it.
So essentially, you're just like.
I'm not
saying anything. I'm just pointing out the amount of free cash that's gonna be generated. That's all I'm saying.
I just have a question about I mean, it's not. Is oil and stone the only option you have for repairing the streets? I mean, is it used because it's much more expensive to do it any other way? Or is it used for some other reason?
It's based on like a circle graph, pie graph of miles in town, 38 miles in town. And how much you're gonna do with asphalt, say it's 110, so you can do a road mile. Of black, which is just a 2-inch overlay, that's no underneath, that's.
Right.
None of that stuff, cost you about 250,000
All right,
to do 1 mile. So there's 38 miles of road down, by the time you got back to that.
do the multiplication, right?
The road wouldn't exist.
And and this would
I thought he said two.
more than cover all of the roads in town to do.
Well, this is like a cheaper alternative.
Oh, no, that's-
Is it as good? No, but these potholes, you know, it buys time.
What it does, George, is blacktop expands and contracts, with the weather you get cracks in it.
Right.
And it exacerbates the water in winter goes down there and blows it apart.
No,
So this acts like frosting on a cake, so it seals all of those cracks and puts a chip layer over it. But notice, we don't have any potholes lately.
well, that's kind of what I was
You're doing a good
going
job
at.
with
It seems to be an awfully good. The only issue is I had Peter do oil and stone my driveway. And all of the stone ended up in the ditch. So, I mean, are we paying for that or?
That's part of it.
Well, I mean, I think the reality
Gotta
is.
get
that-
swept up later.
Well, But I mean, I think the point is that on the street, hundreds if not thousands of cars drive over it and compact everything.
Right.
Versus my driveway,
Correct.
one car goes over it.
Especially
It doesn't. Anyway, cool, I was just curious though.
So I think as we're making a comparison of these, we need to add the oil and stone hot mix, the bituminous concrete, and cold patch it all together to figure out if we wanna compare it to
Oh,
the previous years.
Cold patch is out, it's on,
Yeah,
snow mix actually.
it's just, put in different categories than what it used to be, so.
Yep. And I'm still catching up on trying. I don't understand some of them, so. Cold patch, processed gravel. Just the price goes up. Those are all not too bad. Processed gravel, culverts and, bridge. I don't know, they have much bridge stuff. That went up for. The culverts, we do have some projects that I've already spoke with, I've come about. So that's one, traffic paint is out of control, more than it has been. Used to be, say, 30 cents a foot, now it's $1.02. Well, it's a lot. So if you, the way Keith had it before was half a down, and then the next year, the other half a down. But if you pave new roads in town, anything to chapter 90 blacktop, or, you know, that kind of thing, that you can include those lines into that chapter 90 project. So you don't have to pay out of budget to do that. But otherwise you have to pay out of budget and it's a lot. We actually have the cheapest guy around now do it.
So is this half the town?
Half the town. You know. Lines are super important. Super important.
Do you include-
Traffic control and that.
Does it include fog lines on the main roads?
Yeah, so fogs and double yellows, 4-inch sides.
Yep.
Double yellow, 4-inch. Side,
Yeah.
everything, I mean,
Minus the state roads.
Yeah.
Understood.
I
But in the
like,
past, we haven't done fog lines on like River Road.
no, those should be there.
They should be.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the small roads not used like that, like in your streets there, you don't need
Yep.
fog lights, but
Don't
that's
need
speed limit's
fog.
under 20. Or 20, not that, whatever it is.
Just hit the shrubs.
So the fog line is based on speed limit, not classification.
It's not, I mean, there's roads I put them on, especially narrow ones that
Okay,
are highly used roads. It helps.
Yeah.
It's bad out.
I just wasn't sure what NTSB, like, how they designate when you should,
That they don't.
oh.
And what I do is I listen to the line painting guy. He's like, nah, you don't put them on this one. It's not used on board. Probably gonna have those on there. I mean, he does it for a living too, so I think, yeah, okay, maybe that's a good idea, you're right.
Also, do you also look at like accident
I
information? No, no.
no, any.
I know that but like in Hatfield, did you use accident information as a way?
No.
Oh, okay.
Cause we did pretty much what we did before. We did the whole down, but we do. If it had fog lines, we put, keep it on. I didn't really change much. Double yellows, I like to do the whole town in double yellows, I don't know how you feel about it. But.
I will pay attention to it anyway.
You know, like.
That's really suggestive.
I would have no issue with it, because in order for people to pass another car, they have to exceed the speed limit.
Yeah.
So if you're giving them a passing lane, you're encouraging them. How would happen?
We're gonna stop behind the tractor, pass it, it's not, that kind of thing,
There it's Haydenville Road, got
nothing,
nothing,
no, because the state's gonna redo it, so.
how that, yeah,
Very
because that's very dangerous.
Yeah, this year I will be up there probably making that. Even though, I mean, the paint doesn't last very long, it's not.
We got pushed back.
Yeah.
In a year or so.
But it definitely has to be Haydenville's second biggest. River road,
What's the
the road, it's
28?
close to town.
Yeah. And the foggy, rainy.
Yeah,
night,
the
yeah,
FY28, but the
an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, I would spend some time over there this year.
Good.
Did you say that the state is going to put the money for Haydenville Road at some point?
It's a,
It's in,
When?
It's a federal project.
yeah,
Oh,
it's.
well,
it's funded.
that's not much hope in that.
It,
No, no,
well,
no, it's.
the money's allocated.
Money's, it's,
Yeah, it's there.
it's in the process to start with the fiscal year 28, so we'll go out to the end of 27.
Oh,
That's the current plan.
the miscellaneous one, I had changed, there's 4,000 in there, but then I realized it was for something else, so I just dropped it down to 1,000. I'd have to redo that one, and send it.
Oh, okay.
Miscellaneous. one.
I can do that. Is that the only change or are there other changes?
Yeah.
That one, okay.
I had to do a little research on why it was, but
oh, so.
Miscellaneous, it's just.
Oh.
the bucket truck, I have met Tuesday with, Sunderland, George Emery over in Sunderland, he's the host of the bucket truck. And it's getting worn out as time, so they wanted to increase it from 600 to 1,000 yearly. I think there's enough. It used to be 500, he wants to go up to 1,000. So it's due to repairs and maintenance, generator needs to be replaced in it, that's probably like 3,500, $4,000 for that. So I think it's a big deal, that's, he uses a ton, and, that's a good thing to have around without having us to buy it.
Who does the work?
He doesn't, so, yeah, if we find things that are, go and change the oil around, change the oil, yeah, we do that, and then send it, takes the bill, and it comes out of that money.
Okay.
So, painted stuff, easy fix stuff, we just do it, just convenience wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take care of that. Winter roads. Yeah. Okay. Sand, salt. This winter roads, I would like to start from this year moving forward as a baseline. For the price, to do it this year, and set that as a bottom line, because you don't ever really know about what there's gonna be. But this year was it was a big winter, a lot of time, a lot of salt. Cold temperatures, which brings in a lot of salt. If it's a mild, you can get a lot of snow. You know, 3 feet of snow, 1 inch ice. It's a big difference. You know, 3 feet of snow you can plow off with just labor time. But you mix some ice into it or really cold weather. You're out there all the time and you're always the way it is. I've got a lot of compliments from roads this year. Not saying in the past it wasn't, saying this year. I do it pretty much accordingly to what the state does. How they operate their thing.
But in this category, it looks like the bulk of the increases are for equipment. Not salt, sand, that stuff, or de-icer.
Yeah, those numbers didn't, de-icer went up a little bit, but not crazy. Repairs, maintenance, huge.
Right.
Yeah,
So is equipment just beat like other equipment?
yeah. It's old, salt, found salt, and that kills the machine. Especially if you don't take care of it. You have to, I mean, we did a lot of repairs this fall. I started opening up some equipment, so it needs to be done in order to run, and we still have problems. So, I don't remember what the number was, estimates of fixing trucks, $30,000 or something like that. You had to sideline it, because it's not, we're not doing that now.
I think that's gonna play into the capital
Yeah.
request,
Right.
but my question is, if you don't get the plows that that are in your capital request, this year we had to spend $21,000 to rent equipment. That's not accounted for in your budget.
No.
To have to rent that equipment if we don't get a new truck. So I think we just have to consider that when we consider the capital request. That there will be, you know, if it's not granted and the budget is tight, we're gonna have to allocate for renting a truck, you know, for the winter again,
The equipment.
which is not in the current budget.
And I'm in the plow business, the equipment's very expensive to maintain. The chain in the sander is $1,000. Plow controller breaks, it's $400, $500. Headlights break $800. It's insane how expensive the stuff. So I'm not surprised by the cost.
No, I'm not surprised by the cost, I'm just saying that one way or another, we have to
Yeah,
have the
The
streets
point is, yeah,
streets plowed next year and
if we don't
either
do the capital project, we're gonna have to adjust.
have
the
to put
operating
it on
program.
budget, right?
100%.
So that goes, but employees. I mean, they wear out contracts. The shoveling, I don't. If anybody anticipates that going up. Which, maybe,
No, we have a, sorry,
contract, gotta watch.
where are we? So the sidewalk and shoveling, they're not changing the rates. It's a rate based on the number of, that then, yeah, depending on how many times you have to go out.
The number doesn't change.
If it doesn't snow, it doesn't get done.
Right, right.
Dressers. So we use more of it. So what we do with the de-icer is we buy it in bulk. As just a liquid, and then we spray it onto the salt. Instead of buying bulk tonnage of it already being done, we do it ourselves. This saves some time. Money, actually, not time. Takes a little longer, but it's, the cost difference is enough to justify doing it ourselves. We just put the salt out in the salt shed, lay it flat, and then spray the magnesium chloride onto the salt and mix it up and put it in.
So are you saying when you want to use this as a baseline, is it the whole 79K?
Yeah,
So we'll always including the repairs, the maintenance, plow blades, here's my
Yes.
sand, salt.
there's nothing's going down.
Yep.
Yeah, bolts for a cutting edge, I just, the receipt was like $325. For just the bolts for a plow for her to get done. Which I thought was. Yeah. It's not very expensive. I gotta wish.
That's too much.
road machinery, the oil. Hydraulic oil, vehicle maintenance. That's huge, based on what we did this year. And if things didn't, you know, if like we talked, the vehicles don't change. Get a lot of work stuff. Now I have 3 of the bigger trucks and 2 of them are offline. So we did a bunch of work on one of them ourselves, we bought the parts and did them ourselves. But I still have to bring it to International in West Springfield to get it reprogrammed the computers, because you can't get into them, it's an international computer that's locked. So I can't like have somebody with a computer come down and change the things, can't do that. So it's going down next weekend. Gonna send it down to Allegiance truck and have them do it, have it towed down there and things. So hopefully that's the only problem. If what happened was if one of the filters, it does the emission control filter, fell off on the truck. We're going to plowing, I actually found the filter, because those are $3,500. So we straightened it out, put it back up there, but then you have to buy all the lines that connect to it, because they got ripped off top of the truck. So we saved some money on it.
Which truck is that?
That is T4. Well, it's in the shop right now, it's in our garage, but I don't know, and I talked to him today, he's gonna bring it down next week. So I talked to the dealer,
Is that the oldest truck?
no, it might be actually, that might be in the,
The one that's broken that doesn't work, is that the oldest one?
second.
The second oldest.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, that was a bill, and that was 20,000. To fix that, and even if you did fix it, the truck's not going to putting 28,000, because I'm thinking the number, you're never gonna get the number back out of time.
Yeah, I have a question about tires and antifreeze. You have line items for them, but they've been 0 since 2023. Is that just rolled into vehicle maintenance?
Yes. That's why I did replace some tires this year, and there were 6 or 8 of them.
We haven't started yet, or I can't hear anything if you're speaking.
Yep, you can't hear us? Hello? Yeah, it's showing green.
Maybe you can hear me, but
We can.
I can only see your lips moving.
Because we are showing that it is green for us, showing the mic is working, so I think her audio, she may have to change her setting for her sound source. I'm texting her, yeah.
Okay, she's reading.
So does it make sense to keep those line items separate if you're gonna roll them in, or do you wanna separate them out in the future?
Good question. This is the kind of stuff I'm still kind of learning on,
Okay.
like how it was done before,
Uh-huh.
but I'm
Well, it
not
looks like
objecting
it
to
was
that.
rolled in previously,
Yeah,
so makes sense to either get rid of those line items or to,
or increase it to the number.
or increase them to the correct number.
Yeah, pull that up, either way.
No. Doing this. I love it.
Are you suggesting they were in vehicle maintenance before?
Since they've
That's what it
been
looks
0 since 2023, it looks like they've been rolled into another item. Cause,
The only one that's in there is that vehicle maintenance, so.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, I was suggesting that it had been rolled into vehicle maintenance.
Yeah.
The volume is working on here, so it should be.
Yeah.
So it's really a $47,000 increase over prior years, if you look at the combined budget. 45 and 15.
Yeah, it's working.
Used to be 25 and $30.
23, 25.
Right now it's,
That's what happens if you don't fix it.
I think what I've heard from Garrett is that the previous expenditures were simply insufficient to maintain the vehicles.
Yeah, we also had an in-house worker that was mechanical, could fix stuff. which they don't have enough.
Now you gotta go to the
He's
outside.
doing it. And a lot of deferred maintenance. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of
That's
years of
it.
deferred maintenance.
Right, and well, that's where we're heading into the capital discussion, where we keep doing this, or do we try to pay for new equipment, which will require less, at least initial maintenance? And keep them and have
But we've got,
equipment that will actually be on the road.
Be reliable.
Yeah.
our frugality has got to the point where we have
Yeah,
unsafe vehicles.
Right, so right now, the equipment isn't even on the road, it's sitting on the garage, broken.
Unsafe for the operators and for the
He has,
townspeople.
he has pickups that have been special stickers in years.
2022.
It's
Oh,
just
wow.
on everything.
Yeah,
Then we're putting employees in.
I did. It's, that's gonna be it, I mean. That's the tough one.
But
I don't have any more options, so if you're gonna go out and mow lawns, you're gonna have to take a dump truck.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. That's stupid.
you can hear us now, can you hear us, Joyce?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Think,
They just work.
they just, yeah,
Yeah,
can you turn off a little bit?
She could hear.
Joyce is on now.
it's just a reality.
Agreed.
Those are won't pass into the state inspections to. I told us.
It's not emissions.
No mission problems, although he's also done.
That's the big red R, the big black R.
I don't even, he doesn't do them. I don't, but it's like that in.
There's no R.
You have to get it inspected together, all right?
2022 and
What's the risk management on it?
Take a while, but it looks like they don't.
yeah. But that's across the state highways, it's Christian Lane across the state highway. You're open for bad things that if there's an accident.
Yeah.
shouldn't we be figuring out the cost of relying on deferred maintenance? And for the department to do something about it, like allocate money, pay for it, because this is not only difficult financially, but it's dangerous. And that would be very expensive, or it could be. And I think just putting things off, or whoever use a screwdriver to fix things, maybe it's not the way to go, but
They're past that
yeah, so
body panel rod now, that kind of thing. It's not, and
No.
safely stuff like.
we,
suspect.
I may be misunderstanding the process, but
There was a water department,
Yeah, passed down from the water department.
they weren't even highway vehicles.
So are they parked right now?
Not having to, there's no way to do it. Everybody have to get a dump truck. But we only have one of those, so I have to fix the other one, so. Two people can ride. It's tight. We're making it work. But I really dislike that. Drive around with trucks that aren't inspected for safety reasons.
shouldn't really hurt, well, that's why we need a number, I think.
Well, the capital is asked for a pickup truck. We wouldn't have used one, but that wouldn't come until August, July.
Better than.
Darcy uses one, two of them. Oh. She uses, placement truck I have, the replacement for the one they replaced. She uses that for all lawns. Cemeteries.
We're moving on, general maintenance, garage maintenance.
Electricity. Haven't done this one, so I didn't. I upped it, but $600 a real number. I don't know how to estimate that.
I have a logic question.
Yeah.
With the fire department, it was a 20% increase for electricity. Due to costs going up. With the rec department, it was 5%. And this one's 25. Shouldn't it be consistent all the way through? town budgets.
I think it depends on also what, what applications we have running, like we did put in, heat pump mini split in the fire station, which is offsetting our gas consumption. And it's preserving our equipment in our living space in the summer months, but it's gonna come at
So it's a change of use, not a change of rate.
I think across the board, I think we might be looking at a little bit of that too with the rec. Also, Sanford Highway, that I'm not sure the consumption is stayed the same.
Got it.
Phone. Internet.
Yeah, I just have a question there. There's a $45 under general expenses for a phone. And then also it's only $45, but I just have a question about why are there two different phone lines? Under general expenses, you have a $45.
Third one down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then under garage maintenance, you also have a phone line.
Landline and cell phone. Service.
Just curious.
Yeah, I remember.
I know the other one is only $45, but
Probably
it's
just
just,
flip it into this category.
Yeah,
Does the town pay for cell phones for all the workers? Or was zero? Here's the town phone.
Yeah, I have one phone personally in town, but it's on the same.
Okay.
But that's,
Two different lines.
yeah,
You privately pay for your own line, the town pays for your.
yeah, I would, they're just on the same phone. And then there's the landline.
Okay.
and you also have, but that could be for training and physicals,
We
that's
do a lot of A-state roads. Classes.
more for training.
it's
than
really
it is for
training,
physicals.
yeah.
Yeah, not a lot.
I'll remove physicals from that, like the phrase, cause yeah,
Phrase.
that's confusing.
General expenses on trees, equipment repair, like a long things.
Sorry, what's the miscellaneous for the 25?
Went up, for, due to, if, electricity is basically the biggest one, I think, if you have to move it. The price on that, we try to, we don't use as much as like the police and fire, like as far as being in the shop, like in the summertime, just shut the lights off, we're not.
No,
my
he's
question-
referring to the miscellaneous line
Yeah.
item.
The last one for 25.
You have electricity as a line item.
Yeah, I went up $500 from whatever those are the kind of things I'd have to look back.
Is it like office supplies, like what are you?
Yeah,
Got it. I see it now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty level with.
Tree, equipment, chainsaws. That's something, doing chainsaw maintenance, even sharpening it, you chain, and that kind of stuff. Under general expenses trees. New trees, we don't plan with trees. I've seen, we cut a lot of trees down, but we don't plan a lot. That I've seen, so in Hatfield, we did it, cut a tree down, planted two more, doesn't have to be in the same property, just has to be somewhere in town. For every one, put back two.
That's like, now we're using the firewood revenue to buy trees.
Yeah,
That-
then I
that's-
thought
I thought that was
firewood
gonna be
revolving
firewood fund.
account. Yeah,
Firewood fund, well. There's money in that account,
Yeah,
there's not much, but.
yeah, we used them, it was supposed to, for, when we sold firewood, it went into the firewood revolving account. And then that was designed to, buy replacement trees. So, although as Keith said, they never bought replacement trees, they never, let's see how much money is in there. It's $12,000 in that account.
We can take this 2K out.
yeah, we take that out and there's money in the revolving fund to find the trees.
What is the way it broke down in the tree on that firewood fund? It's spent like 2,000 on this, 5,000 on this.
Oh, what the spending is,
Yeah. I remember hearing how they say that.
let me look.
Nice. See.
He's also not selling firewood anymore, so that pool of money is gonna evaporate.
Okay.
We'll have to start looking
But
at it.
when it disappears, then it'll go back into the budget.
Yeah.
2,500 is the spending limit for trees.
So
For trees.
we've got 5 years.
So we're gonna zero out the new trees line item.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Advertising. If it's 500. That's for advertising for a tree hearing, so if someone has a tree, a town tree in their yard, they wanna cut it down.
Is that picked up in your
Is that-
budget? We have,
Wouldn't that be a homeowner?
I mean,
Yes, it
Unless
is.
it's on that phone.
when we have,
That was way.
when we have the, I'm on the planning board, so we have scenic roads tree request. That's a public hearing that's advertised. That comes out of your tree warden budget,
Yeah,
the advertising of that.
is that on there, on the rural roads thing, no, that's just for.
I know we have a planning board hearing to review.
Oh, yeah.
Road trees.
Yeah.
But who pays for that advertising? Is that this budget or is that brand budget?
Oh, it's not this one. Yeah,
As long as it's the same hearing, then it's out of this budget.
Okay.
last year, I think it was 350, they're running an ad in the paper. For that, 2 days.
It's actually shady.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So. We got a couple hearings. That's just, salary.
Going back to the outside contracting for trees.
Yeah.
So last year we had a meeting with Keith and he had a whole list of trees. Did all those trees come down that were on his list? I feel like there's some down by the Whately and some are down.
Outside contractor, yeah.
How far backed up are you with the funding level with this?
There's a lot. An actual number, I don't know.
I mean, are we talking like $50,000 to solve the problem, or are we talking like $10,000?
Oh, yeah.
Or it's huge. So we're just like chipping away at this number.
Yeah, I just took 2 requests in the last week for bigger chunks. And the Weber Conway, they want their done. Big, 100-foot, 80-foot tree. That's good.
But where are these trees? Are they on the 10 feet on the other side of the road?
Power is 12 feet, so if the electricity runs above it, it's 12 feet setback. If on the opposite side, non-power is 10. Of course, that's really good. Right there.
Yeah.
Orange.
Turn down the volume.
Sounds like it's better now. Raise a little bit up and then do the-
Yeah, that's better.
The setbacks are from the edge of the road or the side?
Power 12, regular is 10. Yeah.
If there's a tree on somebody's property, it falls and knocks down the town power lines, who pays for it? The town or the,
Well, it's not the town
It's
power
us.
lines, it's Eversource.
but I'm just saying, is it the owners of the home
Yeah.
responsibility, not the town's responsibility?
If it was
If it was on the.
if it was on their private property, then yeah, it's their.
Eversource has been pretty proactive, trying to cut down trees that are
I've noticed that.
all the time.
Yeah, so we could get $80 million. And that's Jesus. For the tree removal.
Well, Pantry Road got hammered.
That's right.
That's terrible.
Goes in, and nobody wants their power house. So. They grow back.
Be nice if those power lines, be nice if those power lines are buried.
That's, believe it or not, I had a conversation and it's not as obvious as you would think. If we can talk later.
Wetlands and much.
Does anybody have
There
any
are
other?
problems with burying it that are equal, if not worse, than having them up. Believe it or not.
No,
So I guess the net is a $75,000 increase, but a lot of it's deferred maintenance.
well, we need to discuss, the capital plan with, so that's where we're headed next. So.
Yeah.
Capital plan I have under.
Where, yeah.
Tab 4, it's, I have my, I have a lot of those.
And then hand out the top, I forgot. I know.
Is that part of the handout?
It's on the long sheet.
Oh, those,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where we find it?
Well, it's the long sheet. It's the colorful long sheet.
I got it, right here.
It's outside your binder.
It's right here.
Oh,
right here.
oh, there.
So we have a lot of items on this capital plan.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have enough money to cover all the items on the capital plan. So, I believe the highway department has 4 items.
Yes.
Can we ask Eric to prioritize those 4 items as to which ones he feels are most important?
So right off the bat. The wheel loader, so we did a grant for. To purchase a new one. But it's a state grant, and I talked to Chris Bouchard, District 2 financial advisor, and he said. That you won't see results from June 1. So, I was hoping to be earlier, but I would take that loader off. For now, the one we have does run, it's we did $7,000 worth of work to it this year to, it will run. It's old, it's worn out, it's 25 years old, something like, maybe even a little older, I forget. I was giving a year. It's a 2001.
5 years.
Yeah. So I would pull that off,
Okay.
cause I hate to purchase one that, hey, you get to purchase this one for free. So, which one? From the grant, if you do it.
And from what you've been telling us tonight, probably the highway truck is a priority.
So this highway truck on here, yes, is to replace one of the bigger trucks. That,
150K.
yeah. It also brings us down into under CDL, which is kind of nice, the opportunities for future employment, so that. I find it hard to justify spending 25,000 for a new, one of the bigger trucks. That's not worth money, 325,000 for a single axle 5-ton truck is insane. I just wouldn't do it. You could buy 3 F600s for other, at least, tooling. We do the same business. But definitely pickup trucks are the high priority. The equipment trailers are pretty high priority too, due to the fact that the one we have, the frame's cracked, broken, and then it's been rewelded. It's a 1979. We got our money out of that. If to buy a new one, that had a heavy duty one for $6,500, that's a must. So I would say the pickup trucks and trailer, but.
The pickup and the trailer.
Both pickup trucks.
Both pickups.
Last time you were here, you talked about a lease agreement.
Yeah.
Is it worth bringing that up again?
I personally would say yes. And the main reason for that, saying yes, is that you take the maintenance out. So if you did them for 5 years as a rotating lease, 5 years. The truck's under warranty, vehicles under, whatever you're buying, is under warranty the whole time. So just regular wear items, tires, brakes, that kind of thing, you would have to replace. But after 5 years, it just starts again. Purchase equipment on a rotating schedule. I think it's a good idea. Instead of spending all the money at one shot, buying $300,000 vehicle at once, you're still gonna have to maintain it. You're gonna have to do service on it. It's covered under warranty the other way.
And how much was the lease agreement?
Well, you can do, I mean, you could do it for any number you want. You could do it for one truck, you could do it The way we did it after, we had a 250,000, and we had it for 3 years, and then we had a 500,000 for 5. So if you don't have to spend the money, you could just say, yeah, we don't need the 5, we don't need anything big this year, so. You know, we could spend 100 out of that.
So say it's like capital and puts it in operating?
That's the issue, is it takes it out of capital and moves it operating.
I'm sorry, what,
It takes,
I'm sorry.
it takes the equipment, the vehicles, and moves it out of the capital side of the budget.
Into operating.
And adds into the operating budget.
Right.
Right.
But there's a
But
financing
that's just-
cost.
It increases the tax rate.
Right,
Ah,
But there's a
because
finance.
it's now an ongoing.
Right, it's now an annual expense rather.
Jerry's- But Jerry's comment was before, if we're paying 9% of that money, we afford to pay it, why are we paying 9% on that money?
and we are pushing towards our credit, I mean, our, tax levy.
Yeah.
So,
That-
and capital items
It,
are
it
not,
would be tough to add more, a big chunk more into the operating budget every year.
Yeah.
Rather than taking essentially free cash.
Yeah.
And using that for capital purchases.
I have to ask a stupid question. So you're telling, you and I talked about this, but I don't think I completely understand. So if I went out and bought a truck. They're, usually they cover the maintenance for X number of years when you buy that truck. And when you're done paying for it, you own it. What I hear the lease agreement doing is you're buying the truck, they're paying the maintenance for it, and at the end of the time you own it. What's the difference? Besides, is there some reason the town can't buy?
we
a
buy
truck
it
out?
outright, we don't borrow on it for 3 years.
Yeah, instead of taking an installment loan, we're buying it outright. We're writing a check.
Get writing a check up front for the total
Full of
cost,
costs,
but through this organization that,
it would be borrowing.
It's financing.
so you fake a purchase by actually borrowing.
You just amortize it over 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what's going on. Okay,
Except,
Or not borrowing.
except it would be in the operating budget now instead of in.
okay, yeah.
In the capital budget, it's a one shot, you pay for it. Operating budget is when. Starts bringing it out over, it comes a recurring expense.
Right, but inside his operating budget is 50 grand worth of repairs. So how much does the 50 grand come down versus the cost of the $250,000 of lease?
I don't know, I think until everything every vehicle in the fleet is brought up to snuff, you're still gonna have those vehicle maintenance expenses.
I mean, the 50 grand's there regardless of whether you buy new out of capital or finance.
And I go buy tires for a truck, it's $1,500
Right,
for pickup tires.
right.
I bet you could cut some out of it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. Is it a break even?
But even if the money, as Lynn's pointed out, even if the money is equivalent for a slight, somewhat of a saving. We have to be really careful about adding to the operating budget, because we're gonna. Hit up against the levy limit and then be into override country.
And how close are we?
Right, looking at this sheet here. You see the difference between. I think when we were looking at the limit, we're like.
$6,557,000.
It's like around $500,000 before hitting our limit.
Yeah,
So the further that we move that closer to that limit, pushes us to a likelihood of an override the following.
And every year we have been moving closer.
Yeah.
We have not been moving away at any.
Yeah,
not talking about leasing, but talking about purchasing the used 3/4 ton and the new highway truck. Does that bump down the maintenance costs that you have in your operating budget at all? Because we've got a newer truck.
Yeah, 3 new.
Yeah.
It should drop that 50 grand.
It should drop right down.
I don't see it dropping it down right now because. The used truck he's trying to buy, he's replacing 2 trucks that he doesn't have the money to fix, not worth fixing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even considering spending current money to fix those because they're not worth fixing.
Right.
And the new big truck he's buying is replacing one it's not fixable at all. He's going to just fix the other one, so What'd you say you studied, just fix the truck that just the emission brought it off, and you had to redo it?
That one there, I spent 4,000 parts, we did it ourselves.
Just some parts.
So would it drop the,
I think when you get a new fleet cycle, then
That's
you're
what I
gonna
was
see it
gonna
go
say.
down.
yeah,
So that truck that fell
Next
off
year.
of, next year, it's gonna need another 4,000 because something else is gonna rot off of it
right,
until
but
we
next,
replace that truck.
right, but next year, are we down a truck still? Are we down a good truck? If you.
If you get these two
If you
pickups.
get these two pickups,
You've
you
got to
still
even.
need another one.
You need probably one more pickup, a
Okay,
used pickup.
okay. At which point, maybe the operating budget would go down a little bit.
But the big trucks, you're gonna be replacing those, you've got us for another year or two. To replace one of another 5 times, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's feasible, to replace them, I mean. They're just expensive, $300 and some $1,000 for a very. Small truck, I don't know, it doesn't. I don't know how to figure it out, like, if it's worth buying it, we should have 550s or 150s. Worth buying 2 of those, opposed to spend 300 on a bigger truck. What I'm trying to get away from too is the way these were used in the past. They did chip seal, so they would spend 3 weeks going back and forth from Warner Brothers to Sunderland. Always done that. You can eliminate that whole thing, just call up and get 2 dump trail loads delivered to the yard. It's the deliveries, I don't know, maybe $300. And just have all brought right to you, I don't have to, no one's gotta be there, just pull in the yard, drop it. At the end of the day, we come back, opposed to spending 3 people running this equipment back and forth to Sunderland for 2 or 3 weeks straight.
Very inefficient.
Very
Yeah.
efficient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have some things to think about on the capital plan and removing that loader. Makes it. Makes us breathe a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 90, what are you using chapter 90 for?
Road. The actual road we're gonna be doing, a lot of it's gonna be chip sealing,
Chips?
or not, excuse me, crack sealing.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a lot of crack sealing as we solve, like, like the water is getting in on the roads and then it doesn't. Go away as heat, it forms ice and pushes the roads up, the cracks are, so if you seal the cracks. If the water's not getting down there, I don't think you're gonna have those problems. I got Braille rain is terrible this year, so I planned on, this needs to be rebuilt, and then as the frost came out of the ground, everything came back to normal. It changed the whole perspective on what we're gonna do, so plan B would be to crack seal, see in a year. If it comes back, then we'll have to do something, but, crack seal is gonna be a big one, and then, some shim, get some shim pave, which is a 2-inch overlay. You get the profiles back, so some of the roads now are flat, and then the water puddles are on, so you have to get the center all crown. You have to get the crown built back into the road and get the shed water to the sides. Which is super important.
I was just looking, you increased the amount in your regular budget, and I was just kidding. It's in the chapter 94, so.
So chapter 90 is, it's 241 this year. 241,000. You could pave a 1 mile road with all your money.
So Westbrook Road's in really bad shape,
That's terrible.
at the upper part, beyond the bridge.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you'd have to bring the whole, get rid of everything, bring the road.
That could suck up that whole chapter 90.
You, so 241,000. You couldn't even do that far.
I'm assuming that the crack sealing is cheaper than the oil and stone. Or you can't, oil and stone isn't relevant to what you're.
Different.
I know they're 2 different approaches, but in the place,
Cracks gets a lot cheaper.
well, that's what I would think.
If it was in good condition, and it just has cracks. Then it's pavement preservation. So it's just a way of buying time on the road.
But eventually you have to address it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just looks like crap.
Years on a blacktop road.
I know.
Okay, does anybody have any more questions for Garrett? Okay. We'll move along then. Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you for focusing.
And now we have the police department, and it is tab number 9, PS 3.
I don't have nearly as much stuff to deal with. Pretty straightforward. It can wait till everything gets there. It's beautiful. I don't have a sheet that has any
Yeah, you can-
salaries.
Yeah, you can skip the first
I'd
one.
to get that part, we any increases there.
Oh, I do have a question. Window? You have someone on the window? Okay.
What's it, what do you call?
Educational incentive, so he has a bachelor's degree, he gets 10% of his salary towards educational incentive.
Meaning going to get it, or that he just has it?
Has it, you have to already have it, yeah.
Yeah.
There is some reimbursement stuff, town has a policy for reimbursing for educational and going to take classes, but
Right.
you already have it. Then it's the educational incentive is by having that, so there's associates, bachelor's, masters, and there's a percentage for each one. Bachelor's is the 10%. Used to go by the state, which was the Twin bill with the state. It was 20% for a bachelor's degree. The state paid for half, the town paid for half. The state stopped paying for it, so the town just kept paying their half. So it's bachelor's degree, that's why it's 10%. It used to be 20, but now you just pay the half, paying the full amount.
This was something that was passed probably 15 years ago, maybe even longer.
Yeah, probably longer, yeah.
And the town meeting had to vote it. It felt a lot like the treasurer incentive. But back then, the state was supposed to pay 50%, so when we presented it to town meeting, oh yeah, the state's gonna pay for half, and not so much. They did, I think, for what, maybe 3 years? And then all of a sudden that just, so.
That's probably an election year. All right,
Okay,
so as far as the general expenses go, we're looking at a $1,325 increase from last year. I don't know if you want me to go through each line item and talk about each individual thing, or you guys have specific questions. I mean, some of this stuff is just the increase cost of doing business, the heat, electricity, ammunition costs go up. Vehicle maintenance, we're looking at vehicle maintenance with tires and oil changes and all that stuff, and our vehicle maintenance pays for oil changes and new tires. It doesn't pay for when we break, like 2 weeks ago, we just broke a door handle. It's $1,000 door handle that got broken on a car. So we're not budgeted for that $1,000. We're not budgeted for the $1,800 exhaust system that we have to put on a car. So we're budgeted in the maintenance for that preventive oil changes, basic maintenance type of stuff, brakes, pads, the normal things that go. So that doesn't pay for any additional cost of something it actually breaks.
I'm a little curious. I'm a little curious about firearms and ammunition. How much of that do you use and
How much of the ammunition?
do you use? I mean,
Well, we use it for training purposes. Thankfully, we don't have to go around shooting them down out there, but there is a lot of requirements from the state mandated training that we have. Firearms training.
We also have, I'm a firearms instructor, and we have two other firearms instructors, so there's additional training that the instructors have to go through to get their qualifications and to maintain their training, so it's really just paying for ammunition and some of these costs, it's not really ammunition, but we also carry tasers, electronic control weapons, and we have to buy cartridges for those as well, so that's part of it. So we have to, in order to maintain certification, you have to deploy 2 cartridges per year. Each officer has to deploy 2 cartridges per year for training. Cartridges are now $45 a piece for the cartridges. So those are, the cartridges for a taser are more expensive than the ammunition for guns. But so yeah, we're shooting, as far as the ammunition budget goes, it's really just ammunition and some parts, armors, parts, if you will, for maintaining guns. We just got new guns, so we're not really looking at doing any maintenance for the guns this year, but I do have to purchase parts to be able to do maintenance next year, so we gotta kind of start stocking up on stuff. Yeah, so ammunition, it's expensive for ammunition. You're looking at $250 a case of ammunition. Each officer has to shoot a half a case per year per officer. Got 10 officers, so we have to do it twice a year. So there's a lot that goes into that aspect of training.
So where do you do that practice?
So right now, our home range, if you will, is the South Deerfield Rod and Gun. We pay for a membership there. We do some regional training around the county as well, which doesn't come out of our budget, aside from what the officers have to shoot. But so we kind of do the traveling circus around the county as well, doing training in different areas. But the safe areas to go are getting fewer and further between there. Unless you want to spend a whole bunch of money just for a range membership, we pay $100 a year for the whole department. There's some places where you can spend $1,000 per officer. But we're just not going there. We're just looking for a local place to shoot into a mound of dirt. Keep it safe. But yeah, there's a lot of requirements, a lot of different training. Nighttime shooting, we've had to go down to the Springfield range, which was a police academy range, so we didn't have to pay for it. But now the police academy backed out of it because they built a new range in Marlboro. So now we would have to go to Marlboro to use that range, or we can spend $1,000 a day to go to Springfield, which isn't gonna happen. So that's expensive on top of the ammunition cost and paying the officers to be there. So there's a lot of costs associated with that. Yeah, that's pretty much, I mean, postage, we don't do a lot with postage anymore. I mean, we had $75 in there. The way the postage machine is set up at the town office here, each department has like a section that, like, we do police postage out of there. And the money, the $75 was supposed to come out of our budget and go into that. It's just kind of one just giant budget now. So $75 for us, it just hasn't been put in there for the last few years. And we probably don't even use that $75 worth of postage anyway. So I just kind of took it off just to get rid of a line. Not that it's a huge amount, but just
Jim, why is the dog cheaper?
what's up?
Why is the dog cheaper?
Why is
Therapy dog.
The therapy dog.
Why is it cheaper?
Oh, why is it cheaper?
It's like the 2 dogs, they're expensive as hell.
Yeah, it's expensive, but
But it's way more than this, it costs me to buy a dog.
yeah, so what, we were budgeted for $1,000. That paid for some of the food, some of the medical expenses, some of the training. The dog that we have is my dog. And so we went through initially we went through all the training, we did a lot of training, we still do training, we still do a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's my personality or the dog's personality, but the dog isn't, I wouldn't say the best dog to be taking to the school and to different places. We still go to the senior center, so we don't do as many events as we've done in the past, so I'm not gonna try to get money from the town to take care of my dog, but we're not using it as much as we normally do. It's still he's still with me every day, he still goes to the station, we still do some things, but just not like what I anticipated doing. So we just kind of cut that.
My brother-in-law's a K9 officer, and the money they spend for a K9
Oh,
dog is insane.
Yeah,
Between the vet bills and the food and training.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
it's just for that dog, without training, it's $2,500 a year. That's without going to additional training classes, and those can be $200-300 per class. And
Just as a side note, so like, you assume K9 dogs are only there to like find perpetrators. They find everybody. This dog goes out and finds mentally disabled people out that get lost in the woods, finds them. Finds kids that have wandered off that are nonverbal, they can't find them. And brings them back in. Well, it's pretty cool what the K9s do. It's not just going after criminals.
And that's a much higher level of training than what this was for. This was more for like the Comfort Canine program, where you bring it to the senior center and they can pet the dog and it makes people happy and, you know, those kind of things. We'd use them. We had an unattended death where there was a 12-year-old girl that with her aunt that ended up finding the person that was deceased. And just having the dog, he was in the cruiser with me. I was like, hey, you want to say hi to my friend? Here's Seamus. And that just made her happy for 5 minutes. And to me, that was worth the price of anything that you're gonna pay, just to get a smile out of a kid that just found their aunt dead of war. It was a very traumatic thing. So if we can find some happiness in that, and that's kind of the benefit of the Comfort Dog program. I wish we could do more, but again, his personality is not conducive to doing all the things that I wanted to do. Well, I have to recognize that. I held on for as long as I could. He's almost 4, so I tried for 3 years. And I said, okay, you're not gonna be what I want you to be, I have to accept.
I have one question. The FERCog Regional Communications Assessment, you aren't being charged that?
The,
FERCog Regional Communications Assessment, aren't you being charged a fee for the?
that got added to the radio repair.
It was supposed to be each department
Oh.
got that fee of $200 and some odd dollars.
Yeah, so with the new radio system, the FERCog was maintaining the radio system,
Yeah.
so we're not getting charged for the new Collier's radio
Okay.
system. So we were paying to maintain the old system. That system is now being taken offline, so the price is being dropped down. There's still a little bit of an expense there, but that's.
Oh, okay, so that must be the one that's under emergency management now?
Yeah,
I thought they were still gonna be charging a portion to you, even though it went for home years.
yeah, I'm sure they would like to. We're paying for something that we're not even using.
So, okay,
The radio system the old system doesn't exist anymore. Some of the infrastructure does, but
well, that's what I was thinking, they were gonna be charging for some of that infrastructure, but I suppose the state owns that now and not FERCog. So, okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
and it's just a matter of time before the state starts charging us as well. So they're gonna do state things and build the system for us, and then they're gonna say, okay, now you have to pay a maintenance fee for a year, which is fine. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, so does anybody have any other questions on Jim's budget?
You get called by other towns or the state for help on the time.
For police help?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
so you
usually
go over to Hatfield or whatever
the
and.
Hatfield, Deerfield.
And the state are like on 91 if they.
Yep.
Need help.
Yeah, I mean, we have so technically we have the authority on every road that goes through our town, including the state highways. So we can go out there and stop cars and patrol, we just don't, because it's not fair to the town if we just sit out on the highway and break things all day for speeding on that. So we tend to let the state police handle
Well,
the
it might be a
highway.
revenue source.
Might be a
It might be a revenue source.
That's a sticky subject.
Just
We've never
kidding,
wanted
just
to.
kidding.
Wait, that's a good
Process
question. If you do stop somebody speeding on a state road, is that state revenue or local revenue?
Both, it's split 50/50.
Oh,
Yep, Which is the same way, if the state stops somebody on Chestnut Plain Road, half that goes to the state, half that goes to the.
Oh, the state.
If they pay the ticket.
Oh,
So it's, because people are fund responsible, so it's not everything that they get written, it's every ticket that they, well, for fund responsible, have to pay. Okay. And there, that is a funding source, that I don't know exactly, haven't really paid much attention to
Yeah,
it.
it's
How it
not a
comes
lot.
back into the town, but fines and forfeitures,
Yeah.
there's some money there, but.
Yeah,
That's
It's not huge.
not enough to really fund anything big.
Your therapy dog.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so no more questions for Jim on his regular budget? Well, let's move on to his capital plan.
Yeah.
We have
So
a new cruiser.
my capital plan's pretty simple. It's a cruiser, that's usually our capital expenditures are when it's time to buy a cruiser. This cruiser was purchased in 2017, so 2017. It was purchased and the plan that it was gonna be replaced, we tried to get it on for 5 years. All of our cars we tried to put on for 5 years, they all get pushed off. So the car that we have that I'm looking to get replaced is now at 9 years old. So it's been pushed off a couple of times from the capital plan. Not just because it's been pushed off, but because it's the car that I primarily use, so we're keep the mileage down, so we can extend the life a little bit further. But it has been pushed off a couple of times. So we're looking at a 9-year-old car. It's starting to, I try to take as good care of it as I can. It's starting to get some rust on one of the doors. Everybody keeps telling me about it. I know, I see it, it's there every day. Everybody tells me all the time that, hey, your door's got rust on it now. But, so the rust on it, the biggest issue is the maintenance. We're just gonna, every penny that we put into that car is just gonna come out of our budget. Like I said, I had to put in an $1,800 exhaust system. I had to put in, all new brakes, calipers, and rotors. So we're talking $3,500, $4,000 in repairs. The town, initially it started, I don't know when, maybe when you remember when, but for the first year or two, it was we set up a vehicle stabilization account, which was gonna be to replace the cruiser. So it was the cruiser stabilization account, but then it got changed to the vehicle stabilization account, which could be used for other vehicles that the town might need to get as well. But money goes into that each year. There's currently almost $59,000 in there. That could go towards our $70,000 purchase.
Good.
So,
Jim, I think you said when you came before capital that you're gonna take this vehicle and roll it into your detail car. The one you're driving now, the detail car, and the oldest one will get traded in or circled,
Correct.
something like that.
yes,
Are you charging enough on the detail car to cover the expense of having the car? It's $10. Seems like- I looked at the revenue, there was not a lot of revenue there.
no, there isn't, but we also don't use it for every detail.
Okay,
We only use it when it's requested.
okay.
That might go up, that number might go up because we are low, we're at $10 an hour. Some departments are up to $20 an hour that they charge for a detail car.
Yeah,
We're at $10 an hour, so we could bump that up a little bit. I am changing our policy a little bit. Just for safety purposes, that if somebody's doing a detail on 5 and 10. Or 116, that they take the detail car. Right now, they only take it if it's requested, but we're gonna use it regardless of whether it's requested. Probably won't charge them unless they request it, but just specifically being out on the state road, I think we should have.
in my experience, the contractor, whenever I've had to get a detail, the police department tells me if I'm having a car or 2 cars. It's
Yeah.
the fire chief, the police chiefs. Tell me what I'm getting, not
Yep.
what I'm paying for.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. There is no policy across the board.
Okay,
Some departments don't charge anything.
okay.
Some departments don't have it either. Some departments only have 1 cruiser. So it depends on how big your department is, how many details you have, how many cruisers you have. We have a lot of traffic control, not a lot. We have 3 traffic control officers now that aren't technically police officers. They just do traffic control. They maintain the certifications they need to, like CPR and traffic training, to be able to do that. So to to take somebody that's not a police officer and put them out there in a police cruiser could potentially be an issue, so we don't mandate every detail as a detail out there, or have the cruiser out there.
I think it should raise the rates, just fuel costs and they don't have insurance costs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in my new policy to raise it. I've got to have a discussion with the select board. I'm not looking at raising the detail rate this year, so I don't think there'll be that much of an issue. But
Are you comparable to other communities that are pretty much the same price?
for the detail rate,
Yeah.
just for the officer's rate?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
does it cost the same to get one in Deerfield and Hatfield today?
it does not.
It's not, are we lower? or-
So we're right around the median, the average point
Okay,
right now. That's kind of how we set it. So we have a kind of ongoing spreadsheet that we use for Western Mass. So any chief can put their detail rate in there anytime. Right now, there's 60 communities. Last I looked, there was 60 towns. We kind of take the average of that. That's where we are. But this is all Western Mass, but some departments are at $75 an hour. We're at $65 an hour. Some departments are at 70. Some departments go up $5 a year every year automatically, some go up $2. There really is no method to the madness. So I say that we're our own worst enemies because some departments just say, we'll just make it $90. They
I just wanna
pick it
make
up.
sure we're covering our costs.
Yeah,
So the officer that goes out on detail, his cost and his burden is being covered completely by the detail rate being issued, including like insurance costs and health insurance costs and all of those costs, all of that's being covered, figured into that rate. That we're recouping 100% of that. And then do you get an administrative fee on top of that?
we do 10%.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know I don't know what the cost of coverage per officer for insurance purpose and all that stuff.
Like, I don't know any what it costs to Alex on the job every single day,
Yeah,
by the hour.
yeah. So for a detail,
I charge more than that.
yeah, but for a detail, it's being billed through the town as kind of like I don't wanna say subcontractor, but that's kind of what it is. So it's a town employee, but the town's not paying that person through the town. They're paying when the vendor pays for the detail. That's the pay for the officer.
There's a
The
separate.
detail officer's not accruing any town benefits for this, there's not like,
Not for doing a detail.
not for doing the detail.
I mean, if somebody got hurt, then yeah, I mean,
They're not accruing PTO, they're not accruing
No.
retirement benefits, sick day.
Most of
they're
his
not-
detail people don't.
They don't accrue any of
They-
that.
They're sub.
it can't be counted towards retirement. The only thing is overtime that counts towards retirement.
Okay,
But yeah.
And the revenue is also, it goes into a revolving fund.
yeah.
That's a.
As long as we're not losing money,
That's all.
I have two questions.
Sure.
One is, how many vehicles do you have on the road right now that you use?
There's 3 frontline cars, what we call frontline cars.
And my second
one detail.
question is, I was noticing that there seems to be quite a negative balance in the police detail account. And I'm wondering how that collection is going.
So.
It's 40,000 or something like
Yeah, well,
that.
that's originally what it started with. I'm not sure how that number got to where it was. I talked with the accountant, I talked with James, and we were looking at past years carrying over because it's a revolving, the detail account is a revolving account, so. The
Well,
officer gets paid, and then when the vendor pays, the money goes back into that account. So it's always in a deficit. So
Right,
we try to end the year as close to zero as we can, every fiscal year, as close to zero as we can. But it's never gonna be zero because it's the same account that we start the year with. So depending on how busy things are, it could be $25,000 outstanding. Right now, I don't know how that number got to 40 because that's not the number. And that's what we're trying to work through.
because we started at 25 in the hole,
Yeah.
and now we're up to 40, almost 45.
Yeah, and I don't know why it was 25,000 in the hole, because the money comes out of that account to pay the officer, and then it goes back in when the check comes in, so there is no additional expenses coming out of there. So it's a way of how it was posted, when it was posted. The last time I talked to him, we were looking at some of the numbers, and he hadn't posted numbers for that account for, I think it was 2.5, almost 3 months. So that equaled $23,000, which was that 25-ish. That looked like we were 25 in the hole, but it just hadn't been posted yet. Not sure about how the financing worked, but we usually float around $15,000 to $20,000
How
on
would
any
money,
given day.
how would money get deposited and not be posted?
So
There's a reconciliation that also has to happen. So they have to reconcile before it actually gets shown. So they'll each being the accountant and the treasurer do their entries, and then they have to reconcile, and then it gets reported as posted and.
So that could be part of the lag. That's right. So the money could be there already. Just a matter of the two sides are.
yeah, so the sheet that I have, the spreadsheet that I have says, this is what was billed. This is the date that the officer was paid, the payroll date that they were paid.
Yeah.
And this is the date that the check came in from the vendor. That's the number that I go by, because I don't know the accounting side, I don't.
That would be the real number.
That number, when we were talking about that $40,000 number, I was only $13,000 on my spreadsheet, so I don't know where that other 30, when it was posted, when it wasn't posted, how that happened.
Are there bad debts? People just don't pay?
Well, the reason,
No,
Currently, we're chasing down one detail
one detail.
that's $520. We're chasing down one detail that's more than, I think it was from August. That we're chasing it down. So I do the chasing, I'm constantly like, they change to red after 60 days. Then we start making the phone calls, we start rebilling, we start sending all the stuff, we tried sending, administrative fees, like a 10% fee or $10 late charge. We would send it like, okay, now you're 60 days overdue, so you gotta pay $20 late charge. Or like, well, thank you, here's your check, and they wouldn't pay the $20 late fees.
So like
They're not paying the late fee, they're not paying the,
a utility
percentage
company
fee.
pays you like once a month or something, their terms, whenever you send the bill, do you get paid in 30 days usually, or?
depends on who it is and what the job's for. I don't wanna call out any specific vendor, but there are some state organizations that can take sometimes 8-9 months to pay.
Okay.
There's some that I'll have the check before payroll even.
Why is it just as a education question for myself, why is it at the responsibility of the police chief to contact people to say, pay us the money that you owe us?
don't go there.
Because it would be a lot more work for
For
the
the treasurer
or
collector.
whoever,
Oh,
whoever would have to do it, they'd have to add more hours.
That doesn't really make sense because he's the one that's assigning what is being
Yeah.
billed. He knows who the employee is. He knows what's being
Yeah.
assigned, whether the cruiser was there with the.
And we have the contact
And they
to
have all-
set up the detail.
He has his own payment invoicing process and software.
Yeah.
He has his own account. The treasurer has one for real estate, and then we have another one for the town clerk needs. So all three of them act siloed.
It's an
Yeah.
administrative duty.
Yeah.
I think our treasurer collector would shoot you if you.
I'm on tape, I'm probably in trouble now. But I paid my taxes one time.
So I have a change of topic, but since I'm from the Energy Committee as well. The usual question with regard to the police department, in particular the car, the transportation is. When are we gonna get our first all-electric police car, like a Chevy Blaze, which is what Wellsley has?
Not anytime soon. Because any department that you look at that has an electric fleet vehicle, they have multiple vehicles. Anybody that has 2 or 3 cars like we have, it's not beneficial. Irving has one, they have an electric vehicle, it spends most of its time charging
Be dangerous.
rather than using it. So there's a lot of factors behind it, that's why we're switching. 2 out of our 3 cars are all hybrids right now, which has cut down on the fuel usage a lot.
Yeah.
But there's multiple reasons we don't have charging stations, there's other reasons behind it, but they're just not there for frontline vehicles that we have to rely on every day. It takes longer to charge them in the winter, but the battery life cuts in half because of all the equipment, the radars and the repeaters and computers and everything that we have in the car, that just spends the whole day drawing energy, even if we're not using the car. So chargers, flashlight charger, battery chargers, all the different things that we have, there's a lot of power getting drawn from a cruiser. And they're just not gonna last us. But if we're using a car on the weekend, 2 shifts a day, on the weekends, that's 16 hours, it's not gonna last 16 hours for what we need it for. And we can't, there's stories of departments that have had to get rides to go back and get another car and have that car towed back because it's dead on the side of the road. Didn't have enough charge in it.
If I remember correctly, you also had a problem with fitting it with the equipment inside.
Yeah, so that was the big thing, because the options, it was really a Mustang Mach-E was the one that we were looking at. And there was a Tesla model. Neither one of those had, like all of our equipment manufacturers, none of them were making any equipment that was retrofitted for those cars. So if you're just gonna put a little bubble with a toggle switch, maybe. Tesla's, as soon as you add something to the system that didn't come from Tesla, voids the warranty. So we add a lot of stuff that's not put in by Tesla. So are they gonna start making dedicated cars at some point? I would imagine so. I think there's some production cars out there that they're looking at that they use them for, I don't wanna say the parking enforcement, I guess you could say. So they drive down the street, they park it for a while, and then they go walk down the street, issue some tickets, they come back and they drive to the next street and things like that. They're not putting 120 miles on the car per shift. So there's a lot of other factors that go into it. Sure. I just don't think we're ready there. And I've talked with a lot of these departments that get cruisers. NYPD was trying to switch to all electric vehicles, and then they had a whole disaster. So now they're trying to switch back to the hybrid. So there's a use for them, just not for us at this point.
Jim, getting back to your capital, how crucial is this car funded this year?
Well, it's running now. If we don't replace the cruiser, we're just gonna be putting more money into it. If we can, I don't wanna say how much the manufacturer would give us for a trade-in for our other car, but if I make this one the detail car and we get $1,500 for the other car, I spent $4,000 already in repairs. So it's like getting $1,500 trade-in, we're not making even half of our money back. And if we're doing that each year, and there's already things that I know next year that are gonna need to be replaced. Now we're looking at ball joints, tie rods, those kind of things to start to make some noise aside from the regular stuff. And those things get expensive. And like I said, I can't bring my cruiser to the dealer, have a repair done without getting a bill that's less than $1,000. It's just everything.
The bulk of the cost of this is in vehicle stabilization, which, as Chief said, we set up as a revolving.
Did we use them to buy? No, we use.
We use it to buy a highway department pickup a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The, so when is the next cruiser on the capital plan to be replaced?
So we have 2 cruisers that are 2023s. They just think of the numbers, 1 car, 2 car. So the 3 car is aside from the car that I have, that's the oldest car. That was purchased 2023, so that's almost 3 years old. I'm looking at a 6-year replacement for that car. We just got the other car last year, which was a 2023 holdover that we were able to get without having to wait because the manufacturers weren't even making hybrids at the time. So we were able to get that one, but that one's a 1.5 years newer than the other one. So realistically, if we have 3 cars and we're looking at a 6-year rotation, we should be looking at buying a car every other year in order to get each car on a 6-year rotation.
And your roof is, oh, that's pretty old. When did we do when did you guys move in?
So we moved in 2008.
Eight.
It wasn't done in 2008. We didn't have a roof as part of the plan.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah, nobody looked at all the invoices. There was no roof on it. I started in the town in 2000. It's the same roof since I started, so it's at least 26 years old. And it was probably mid-90s maybe that it got replaced. So you're looking at 20, 30
Okay.
years, 25, 30 years old.
Is it having problems at all?
We just started having a leak a couple months ago. It's leaking down from I don't know, Garrett looked at it. Eric used to do roofing he works for the highway department, but he used to be a roofer for 30 years. But he looked at it, it looks like it's leaking from somewhere towards the top, and then it's running down the roof and then running down the joist into our garage. So it's kind of pulling up in the garage when you get rainy days, but I don't know what's happening up at the source.
Okay,
Yeah, I could move that over.
And one note on that, we're also looking into putting solar on that roof. The building committee is, and Carolyn looking into grants to try to cover at least some of the cost of that. If
They send that to you, the quote that I got.
I got the quote, which was 67, I think.
Yeah, we're still waiting on 80 square.
Yeah, and
before you do
but
that.
hopefully
get
we
your
can
roof
get,
You have to repair it before you put a panel up.
You do, you have to repair a roof.
right, yeah.
That's what I heard.
More than this one or less than this
But
one?
if you replace the roof, it is a good candidate for the solar on the roof.
Yeah.
I don't have to put a bucket there to collect the water yet, so it's not that.
Okay,
I have a question about the car purchase, the new cruiser. So is there some parallel here between the way Garrett is proposing buying new vehicles and the way you buy new vehicles? Is there a leasing
Yes.
concept that you could use or are using?
We did it in the past, I think it was probably 2000, say, 4 or 5, somewhere around there. We did a lease, it ended up costing the town more because of the finance fees and
But
doing it over 2 years as opposed to 2 or 3 years.
Did you do the lease with the dealer or did you do it through a third party like he's doing?
It was a dealer, yeah, so we had to use the dealer because it's all state bid. State bid.
You have to use the dealer in your case.
Yeah, to get the state bid pricing.
And
So
that
that is
would
different
run
from
the
the
same
highway.
problem of putting it back to the operating budget. Rather than
Yeah.
capital budget.
and then feeding in that instead. That was a question I should probably brought up earlier. Were you able to find anything out about how that proposal fits procurement laws?
It apparently does, it does comply,
Okay,
yeah. The procurement requirement is on selecting the leasing company, but once they then act, they're actually doing vehicles that are on the list.
so you would have to put a RFP out for a leasing company first.
That's my understanding, though. The word that I was getting from Hatfield, they didn't,
Okay,
so.
okay.
And it might be that particular company may be on the
On the
state bid
state bid
list,
list,
so.
Yeah,
I think
But I
Gary said
didn't
that they
find
were.
them, but yeah, I didn't locate them, but. They might be under a different name.
it's so hard finding anything on that state list. So,
And just to be clear, as far as I don't think I submitted the detail sheet, but this is $70,000, that's not the price of the car. That's the price of the car with all the equipment, the cages and everything that goes in the car as well. So the car is relatively inexpensive as far as cars go. It's the equipment and the installation of all of that equipment, the cages, the light bars, all the different things that go into it. So it's a multifaceted thing. We're not just like I don't wanna say Garrett's just buying a truck, but when he buys a truck, he's.
No, I see what you're saying, yeah, totally.
He doesn't-
Well, no, actually Garrett's is chassis, it is custom.
It is, yeah,
And so his
but
work,
the additional the additional equipment like radios and radars.
Not
and
as much
cages
of
and
it.
all that,
Right,
yeah,
right.
he's got interchangeable bodies and things like that.
Yeah.
It's part of it, but-
Right.
Your repeaters, your radios, all that stuff.
Yeah, a repeater itself is $15,000. You know, we're switching that from this car to the new car. But eventually you have to buy a new one, it's a piece of electronic equipment, it's not gonna last 10, 15 years.
Right.
Eventually at some point, you maybe swap it once or twice, but then you're buying new equipment. It's the equipment and the installation is probably half the cost.
Wow.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Jim?
I have a question. The next item down was 4,300 from the highway police property survey on the
Was that
capital.
already paid?
That's, no, so that's not a capital project because it's under 5,000, but the municipal building committee wants to do a survey of the highway property in relation to doing the new highway garage on that property in order to figure out where the potential footprint is. So that 4,300 was requested to come out of the building stabilization fund, which the select board reviewed and agreed with. However, a use of stabilization fund requires town meeting
So
vote.
I have no thought for that. That $100,000 that we got from Senator Mark. That should be in a separate account.
We didn't receive the money we.
Wait, do we have, is that received? I mean, I know there was.
We have to tell that
Okay.
there's,
Is
yeah,
it a reimbursement or is it?
it was very unclear how this.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have not received any money.
We haven't received, okay.
I think you should have Jim call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
I'll add it to my list.
I got.
So that has not been appropriated anyway at this point, it has to go to.
Town meeting at the, yeah, vote on the appropriation.
That we didn't, taking that stabilization fund.
I think it'll be easier to do this way,
Okay.
yeah, because I don't trust the earmark, so we'll see, but, and if you wanna do act faster,
Yeah.
let's get it out of town meeting appropriation, we have that,
Yeah, we're.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Jim? Hey, we are now on the water department.
Thanks for all you do, Jim.
Thank you.
And the water is at 15.
So when.
That's basically under 15, so.
Since Wayne is here, but before we get into water, you wanna ask the one question about the recreation fees?
Oh.
Because Wayne happens to be on the rec commission, if we answer that question. Okay. When and how are the recreation fees set or have they been adjusted? How are they in relation to other communities? Are we on par or below?
Chris would answer that.
Oh, okay.
And the fees
Nice
actually
try.
go into the rec revolving account, so they use the rec revolving account to pay for uniforms and that kind of stuff for the kids for their sporting activities, and they also use the revolving fund for equipment and that kind of stuff.
Usually the most of the rec budget for the town side of it is maintaining this stuff.
I'm just curious to know, if it's never been adjusted.
It was.
Yeah.
It was adjusted. I think I was still treasurer collector, so maybe 3 years ago.
But for the fees for.
The fees.
But I think he did it last year.
Oh, he did it
I think he
again.
did,
Okay. I noticed the rec commission doesn't have a page on the website.
Yeah,
You can see it under departments.
it's not under
Under
departments, it's under boards.
And I not, oh, okay. I missed out over. Okay.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Mike. Pretty much the same as last year, our budget went up about $1,600 for general expenses. Most of it, they just moved. A jump to electricity. Which last year I budgeted around 30, almost $31,000, and it's probably not gonna be enough to cover the year. So this way, for next year, I went up to 40,000. Other than that, there's not many big jumps anywhere, it's just moving stuff around, we don't have as much engineering to do, so I moved that around. Our two capital projects. They need a new solar system at the tank for the communications and our 5-year deep cleaning stuff this summer. Other than that,
You can use capital for cleaning a tank?
or, well,
Their
yeah.
budget's a little bit different. They have to use all their stuff under.
We're just, yeah,
That's an end, right?
I call it capital project. Our capital project.
Got it.
So they included, yeah, the capital projects and everything under their operating budget.
Yep. So I have two quick questions if I can.
Yep.
On my water bill, there is a capital charge that.
Yeah.
How large is that fund?
So at the end of FY 20. Let's see, so at the end of FY 25, I think it was around. There's somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000.
So it's not a lot of money.
No, now it's about 45,000. So it's about 40. We aim to put about $50,000 a year. Into it. Last year we put about 40.
But that's in reserves.
Yeah. Which is what we use for our capital project.
But you're asking for 18,000 next year for capital projects. Wouldn't you
No, we
take
just,
it out of the reserves?
yes. Essentially, that's what our whole budget's run off. is
They're
what's in our
enterprise.
And then they're all, they're not on.
They're not-
the rest
They're
of
not part of
the-
the
They're not
tax base is
standard,
not
the rest of the
Something
capital
that
budget.
is, no.
It's a self-contained budget.
So it's more of a courtesy review.
Yeah, you see the back and forth between
Yep.
their revenue or their expense, and then you have their revenue line or their revenue budget from the other side.
See the overhead. Oh,
So you see
Yep.
in revenue, they have
Yeah.
361,000 is
Yep.
projected for 2027,
Yep.
where their expenses are 330,000. But it's not any tax increases or tax, yeah.
Understood. And then a second question, relative to Pine Plains Estates. We had an HOA meeting a couple weeks ago, and they mentioned that they connected with somebody in the water department about I think it was a $1.5 million project to
Egypt or.
move in. And said they thought it was an imminent project, and I said, well, I don't know about this. Can you-
We are gonna do it. We just
Okay.
gotta find the public for it.
Is this the Egypt Road, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got as far, we got all the engineering, we got the permits to get underneath the tracks.
Yep,
Now it's just finding the funding.
not coming out of the reserves.
No, there ain't
It's-
nothing.
right.
Why, what's the projected cost?
1.5 million.
Oh, it's not. Okay,
Uh-huh.
well, see, they have a $30,000.
Alright.
difference between their expenses and their revenue.
So you need to find a grant in order to complete it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they informed us the project was imminent.
I mean, the
I don't think
the
so.
big cost of the whole project is. Call it the 80 feet to get underneath the railroads.
Correct.
To do the other 800 feet of piping. is Minimal compared to, you know, I mean, that might be $100,000 and $8 or $9 or $1 million is just to get under the track.
Are you gonna break that up and do the 800 feet of pipe? Are you gonna break it up and do the 800 feet of pipe?
Yeah.
What are you gonna track?
And not for any particular reason.
I just.
If there's money left over, yeah, we'll get the piping to the tracks, to the hydrant, and then. The last chunk would be that last about 150 feet to get it underneath the track.
Yeah.
And connect it to that.
Can you increase the capital fee on the ratepayers' bills?
It'd be huge.
Well, over a number of years, do break it down to a 5-year collection where you.
Yeah, it'd be like a huge increase.
300
we
grand,
only have-
1,200 homes.
400.
No, 400. 460.
Only half the town is on town water.
Town water.
Yeah, it's about 460.
Oh, everybody else is on well, so they're not.
Yeah.
And basically, you guys are the only ones being charged. We don't get water bills because we're on wells.
Right.
But, you guys, the 460 people are the only ones being charged that capital fee.
Cause you're the only ones to benefit from.
Everything
Makes
is,
sense.
yeah,
When don't you put money aside for buying a new truck every X number of years? Where's
We
that?
do.
Where's that?
So. We used, I don't know how to explain this, so we used to put $5,000 aside every year. Into its own account. But with that, the enterprise, the pellet, the savings account not being real big right now. Instead of pulling that out and earmarking it for something, it's easier to leave it in the enterprise fund. You know what I'm saying? Cause if a well goes down and we need to go to a special town meeting or whatever and pull 40 grand out to get that well back going.
Okay.
So we it's kind of now, instead of putting it on its own line item and earmarking it for it, we just kind of internally keep a spreadsheet of the savings and where we want to spend it.
so how much is your retained earnings?
It's about, in October, whenever it came
Yeah.
out, I think it was like 46 or 48,000, but not all the. What do you want to call it? Not all the income came in yet. There was some missing.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect your retained earnings until after.
Yeah.
Redo the retained earnings, so.
Right.
That's in addition to the capital reserve.
They,
No, the retained earnings is what's
Is-
in,
it's like our free cash.
Right.
yeah,
So they have that sum of money that they can appropriate from and spend.
Between the two buckets, they've got 100 grand.
no,
Well,
That's retained
your
earnings.
capital,
and
well,
Capital 45.
no.
no.
They
The
do.
capital ends up going into the retained earnings, and
Yes.
then, yeah, the capital becomes part of the retained earnings.
So like when we do,
Oh.
like I got it on here as capital projects. It's on our budget, but that money comes out of,
Retained
Retained
earnings,
earnings.
so it's. Not.
It's one of, it's enough.
Got it, I get it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay,
Do you foresee any long-term exposure relative to your equipment? We've been asking other departments. Is there anything we need to be worried about the next 5 years?
no, like as. No. No, the only thing there reports is I think there'll be enough. There might be enough left over in this year's budget to just get a spare pump. And have it on hand.
Yeah.
and meters,
Yeah,
Are you all
meters
set
will
on
be
meters?
coming up. I think it's in 6 years. To replace all the batteries, are gonna start dying in all the meters.
Hmm.
So those gotta get replaced. I think they're. Last year when I got some, I think they're about $150 a meter. to Replace that. Yes.
I asked a question about, seem to recall from being at some of the water department meetings and the need for a new well.
If we're still doing that. Well, it's a, I don't know, it's one of them tough things. It's not that the town needs it.
Like a regulatory,
Yeah, the
yeah,
DEP, so the DEP requires that your main pump can produce enough water for the maximum daily use. Which in then turn, they require your backup pump to also be able to do the same if the main one goes down.
okay.
Our main one can do it, but the backup ones, I don't know if we could do a third. So what we're hoping is they'll let us pull. The town has two wells, a 6-inch and a 12-inch, and we're hoping they'll let us pull the 6-inch out and replace it with a 12-inch. If they don't, then it means going and trying to find another well. So
But is there, in future years, there'll probably be a cost if you're able to pull the set and put in a phone, which.
Yeah.
There'll be a cost for you.
How deep is that well, Wayne?
170, the screen sits at 175 feet.
Okay.
The pumps,
Not
they
easy.
hang right around like 600.
It was not easy finding that site for a well, so.
No, it's, I don't know, I don't know what we do, they went all the way from South Deerfield to Hatfield, down the river. And found it there.
Okay. They don't have any capital items other than what they have on their own.
Yeah.
So anybody have any other questions for Wayne? Nope. Okay, thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is the South County EMS. A few of us will be meeting in Deerfield on the 23rd. And they presented their budget at that time. So actually it is on tab 9, ES2.
Yes, too, I transposed those two by
Yes.
mistake. Good catch. That's my fault. I forgot to let Jess know to print this one. I can print it. I can. It's out.
So what that, how was it doing?
It's half.
9, it's PS2.
But I need
It would look
I need
like
to
this.
print
We
out
have the
the,
new,
you do have the printout from EMS, which is the SCEMS. Let's see where that is.
Skims in.
Payroll and then everybody.
Yes, that's part of the budget.
That's part of it, yeah, where's the other part?
Not the whole.
That's the senior center.
That's okay. I have it in the spreadsheet. Let me just print this out.
It's the old one, but it went down.
Having nothing to do with their budget, but as a point of information, Josh Sparks, the chief, is resigning as of June 26th.
Yeah.
26th. So there will be a search for a new
That's unfortunate.
South County EMS chief.
We're other opportunity elsewhere.
Yeah.
He attributed to family, I don't know in what respect.
Looking for scams.
I'm printing it for you.
Yeah.
It's not, don't go with what's.
Well, I'm
out
looking
there.
for the one I had from the meeting the other day, and I can't find that either. I know I have it.
Alright.
Yeah. I can go grab it, just something else.
He's been commuting essentially.
Okay.
Somebody
Oh,
knows.
wow.
Oh, my God.
And working remotely, and I think finally just,
I didn't realize that.
That's a lot.
he was supposed to try to find, he just couldn't find any place to live around here. I don't know if that was the all of us saying enough, but
Some people drive an hour to work.
Yes.
My sister did. Awesome.
So Jess is grabbing the sheet, which is just the one line item, the assessment amount, but the, I can tell you what that amount is while.
Here, if I don't deep enough, I find it.
The assessment for 27 is $168,025, which is a 25.03%.
Did they touch on that we were gonna charge half? Did they touch on the we're gonna charge half?
Yeah, Hatfield has been notified. Now it's up to Hatfield town meeting to
Okay.
approve it in their budget.
Yeah.
Otherwise Hatfield won't. Falcon EMS will not serve Hatfield if they don't pay $350 per visit.
Yes. Great.
So, yeah, that's fine.
It's me, I'm not. Do I have a different,
Imaginary increases because of health insurance. Bill,
why do I have a different total than gave us some like meeting the other day?
This is the number that Josh had given me, so I never got.
Oh,
to see the
never mind, I
document.
got it.
Okay. Okay.
I was looking under the wrong column. So it's $34,000 more than last year.
There are two main drivers of that. One, well, the main driver is that last year Falcon EMS took $250,000 out of retained earnings to subsidize the budget. This year, that number is 10,000. So that spread that across the three towns.
why did that happen?
Why did that happen? Because the South County Mass Board and the chief have made a determination to build up retained earnings and use that as a fund to buy ambulances on a
Okay.
regular.
So user fees
Okay.
are now instead offsetting operating costs. They're being saved for
Right.
buying new ambulances.
Right.
Okay.
And that is the main driver of this going up, that
And insurance.
and insurance. And there was a $20,000 increase in the indirect costs paid to town of Deerfield. Which, to my mind, they didn't explain properly why.
You did an excellent job.
I still don't know why it went up $20,000 this year, but I don't think we're ever gonna get an answer.
You were not going to do this.
Okay, so does anybody have any other questions? Maybe Fred, if you do, Fred being on the board, he might be able to answer them for you.
I just got one quick, hopefully quick question, which is the lecture we got from him, which was absolutely wonderful. I learned so much from it, basically about how emergency services work, which is that you lose money on every call. Is what we pay to cover the difference of what they should be getting and what we do get? I mean, if it was a perfect world and they got refunded for what it cost them to send the ambulance out,
We would.
there'd
pay
be no
anything.
budget.
Right.
So are we paying for the fact that in fact that doesn't happen? Is that really what it's about?
Yes,
Yes.
I just wanted to make
Pretty
that. make sure I
bluntly, yes.
understood. Okay,
We're paying.
Having billed,
We're paying for the comfort of having 24/7 ALS services. The 911 call away, find the.
yeah, his point was that there's lots of calls they make where they know they're not gonna get the money.
Right.
If they don't transport them, yeah.
well,
No,
no,
they
they
do
transport them.
transport them,
Depends on who's paying.
but the insurance
Billing,
company
right.
doesn't pay the people who don't have insurance.
I used-
no, the
Well,
insurance company will almost always pay. The
well,
problem.
that was it, right?
The problem is you've got people without insurance, and if anyone has
And they
ever
don't
gotten
pay.
a bill from a hospital or doctor, it's some fictional number for which the insurance company will pay some amount.
That's, yeah.
I used to bill the town's ambulance services.
Ah.
When, back in the day when we had our own ambulance and like, Medicaid, you might get
Well, he
40,
mentioned that,
45%
that's
back
what he
then,
said, that's right.
you know,
What did
it's
we
just.
call those? Wow, they were-
We abated, see, we did
Abatement.
try to get, we did bill the individual, unless it was a Whately resident, we figured they're paying through their taxes
Oh.
for the ambulance service, so we didn't bill Whately residents for. balance billing. We would bill them if they didn't have any insurance at all. We'd bill and try to get some percentage of the cost. But, if it was Medicare,
Just don't know.
you're gonna get 50%. Some of the private insurances might pay the whole thing. But not many.
Right, yeah.
There was always something on it that they wouldn't pay, so, yeah.
And then the only, aside from the occasional insurance, the only people who pay the whole thing are people who are self-insured, who have the financial wherewithal to pay and choose not to have insurance.
Right.
I mean,
I mean, they did revenue prediction. It was some revenue, there it is. Yeah, so they're expecting $927,000 in revenue.
And they always budget conservatively on that,
Yeah, it does,
So-
yeah.
and the difference above that will go into retained earnings.
So no further questions on the SCEMS budget? Okay, so then we have the senior center budget, which is also a presentation at our, and having sat through the presentation, which was excellent. Joyce, thank you. It was obvious to me that most of this depends on what happens in Sunderland and their override.
Yep.
If Sunderland does not pass the override, then
It's not gonna happen.
we're just gonna stay the way we are.
Right.
So, but we will know
We
that.
didn't know that
Because
before,
May 2nd, I think, is their vote for their override.
and May 11th is when the finance committee is making your vote on the budget, so we will be able to determine how we affect our budget based on that.
Right.
The only, little issue might be that they may go back for a second vote. You know, you can have as many override as you want, override votes. Ask us about Frontier.
But doesn't town meeting have to agree to do another override vote? Oh, no.
They've already agreed
Once
once,
they've agreed once,
so they could be brought forward
okay.
more than once.
If I understand correctly,
We had
they've
four,
got 3 different budgets on their
Yeah, they
agenda,
have
a no override budget, was
a
it
5%, well, the 5% cut was the no override.
right,
And then 20% cut was a no override, 5% would be
it's built into the other two.
two, yeah.
I think one is 8% and one is 11% or something in that neighborhood.
I think they actually changed that. They
Oh.
decided it's all or nothing. So
Yeah.
they're just asking for one.
$800,000 override.
Okay.
Yeah. The one, I'm calling it the great big beautiful override, but some people object to me calling it that, so, but,
Well, they are not the only ones in this boat. Pete and I were talking, there's a lot of towns and some of them are in the $1 million overrides and they aren't big towns, so. Yeah, so,
So I just have one question
Scary.
about that. Is the override in Sunderland generic? Out of which the senior center would be paid for, or is there a separate vote? Even if the override passes, can they vote down the senior center?
they will have their town meeting first.
Yeah, the town meeting
And-
happens first and then the override. Town meeting is setting the budget,
Yeah.
dependent, and there's the dependency.
Oh,
of
and then
the
there's
override.
there's a vote at some
Yep.
later date on.
Town meeting is on April 27th.
Yes.
Something like that, and then their override vote is on May 2nd. So we will know the outcome in Sunderland before we have to make our decisions on our budget. And they're just going for a flat override, $800,000 override,
Which would theoretically cover whatever.
right? they aren't picking and choosing, like you can have an override to say, I wanna spend. Do we want to spend $200,000 more for the school or for the senior center or whatever, but they have chosen to just. Go with a flat override, so you aren't pitting one department against
Our
another.
budget at town meeting, so. No, I don't.
So there would, if the override does happen. Then there doesn't need to be a vote on the senior center because it's all.
They already
The
have.
Well-
override is the vote, essentially,
Yeah.
is the vote on the senior center.
Town meeting.
Well, I thought there were multiple reasons they needed the override, not just the senior.
There are, but
But-
that's one of,
That's one of them.
Oh, sorry, that's what I'm saying.
Town
If
meeting.
the override happened,
Town meeting happens first where they're deciding, are they going to?
Oh, we're gonna vote.
The
so
budget,
you can shoot it down even then,
Yes,
correct,
alright.
right, the override then is just to say, okay, town meeting said, we're going to fund these things, and this is the total amount. Are we agreeing to that total? So you already had that vote beforehand.
So they could vote against the.
they could vote
They
against
could.
it, yeah.
Yes,
The entire town could vote against it.
Yeah.
Versus who showed up for town meeting.
and if any of the three towns vote against senior center, the project's dead.
And
So
what-
technically,
All three towns have to support
Oh,
the
yeah.
senior center project.
so if we want to support the senior center, we will put on the amount that we need for the 112 or whatever it is, Amherst Road for the new building.
Correct.
If that doesn't pass in any of the towns for whatever, for any reason, we can actually go back at a fall town meeting and vote a lower amount before we, that our tax rate. Or we can just keep that amount in that amount of the free cash.
But if it doesn't pass, would you just drop?
yeah,
Drop the
Right.
number
Lynn's
for
just saying,
town meeting?
Lynn's saying if there is a positive vote or something,
Right.
or we move forward with this budget regardless.
Yep.
But then it turns out one of the towns does fail. We can, after town meeting, we can do a special town meeting to reduce the budget, so that we're not taxing the residents based on the higher budget.
Is the 540K variance including the higher number?
Yes.
At the senior center?
Yes.
Sorry, what?
540K
That
difference
we're
at the moment
in the budget.
in the budget.
We're using the higher number in the budget.
We're using the go.
Excellent.
So I went over and got a tour of South Deerfield today from Julie. And they're going to have a public meeting tour of the building as a suitable place for the senior center. The town of Deerfield.
I'm glad that the town
And she's,
Deerfield Finance Committee decided to engage
well, all I'm saying.
the
is,
other two towns.
my real question has to do with is it worth thinking about a plan B here? I mean.
It is
I mean,
worth,
I wanna see this happen, but if
Doing
you
that,
can't
but
afford it, then you need another.
I think,
way to go.
I feel that there's an issue with the fact that the Deerfield Finance Committee decided to act on their own. When there was a tri-town study, feasibility study, working with the three towns together. And then one committee in one town decided to go their own
Fair
route.
enough, I hear you. I'm just saying, that's what you told me today, that's all. But my point is that if the Sunderland knocks things down. Isn't
That's
it
an
important to
option.
have like, wait a minute, there are other options available to us, hopefully. That should be looked at, I mean.
Yeah, but I think it's sequential, they're looking at.
We
this
have
one.
to
And
let the
then-
dominoes. fall.
They've been looking at other options.
This has been going for
years.
5 years, right?
They've been looking at options for years.
I understand, I'm a newcomer to this, so I just found it interesting.
I think
It might-
the unfortunate thing though is with this other option, it's coming in at the last minute. And how is Sunderland? If they fail on the 112, are they now going to have to reevaluate on these other plan B that's been thrown out? Like,
I think their plan, I think, with talking to Nathaniel, was that their town meeting budget is gonna have the new building. And then they're gonna have their existing keep going for another year on there,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be voted one way or the other, so.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So if the override doesn't pass, then they've already presented this lower
Yes,
figure. So,
Hmm.
but I don't know, I'm not sure why has the town offices in Deerfield decided that that building was not appropriate for them?
Yep.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you, Lynn. And I just wanted to ask a quick question. George, you said you got an invitation to come tour some buildings?
no, I asked Julie if I could,
Oh, okay, I see.
because it was on one of the evaluation that was done included that building.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about that building, so I just wanted to see
Oh,
it first.
yeah. Yeah, it has a lot of problems. It needs a lot of overhauling. So I thought you had said that they reached out to you to
No, well, I
to
called
ask you to,
Julian, can I come and get a little tour? Because I don't know anything about your building.
yeah,
And my point is, I'm
The
just.
Deerfield Town Hall.
Deerfield, no,
the
no.
Conway Street,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, my takeaway from that meeting in Deerfield was it's gonna at least be a close call on Sunderland. And if that goes down, then you gotta think about other alternatives.
Yeah. But I think the way our municipal finances and the rules that we have to follow because our municipality are that we can sort of take these choices on one at a time.
Yes,
And
fair enough.
and that's so if there's going to be a plan B, then that will probably come up at the next town meeting. I don't know. I think there's a pretty good coalition gathering in Sunderland to do the get out the vote needed because, and I think they were strategically smart to do it that way, to get the energy behind the schools and the energy of the library, having everybody push in the same direction. I don't know. I can't read the future, but there are people who really want. In fact, I think all of the select board and the finance committee want the override to pass. That was unanimous. I went to their meeting. It was really, I was like completely impressed and humbled by how hard those two committees worked to try and make whatever they do fair and equitable across their town departments, the places that are looking at cuts, and places where they can't necessarily look at cuts. They really wanted to make this, whatever the budget ends up being, be as equitable as possible. So I actually told them that if you go to the FCAT tape at the end of their meeting last week, they had public comment, and I told them that they were really awesome and they were very hardworking. Um, so I just, it's hard, it's never easy to say, but there are people out there who are going to be doing get out the vote.
See what actually happens.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the South County Senior Center? The next item is capital improvement. I think you can probably, we've got some more input today, but I think we can probably hold off and make those decisions at our next meeting or even
It's the May 11th meeting where you're gonna
Yeah,
make your
yeah.
final, yeah.
So.
But you may want to start discussing probably next meeting funding sources.
Yep. Yeah.
If we are.
Cause we're working towards 8 o'clock here,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to,
Could I just ask one clarification? If it's gonna take more than 24 words, we can put it up. But when you were saying the leasing concept has this threat of pushing it into a operating budget, is that a showstopper, or are you just saying you gotta look out for that?
You have to look out for it because,
But it's not a reason not to do it.
well, it might be a
It
reason
might
not to do it.
So are we?
It's not-
I'm still trying to figure it out, but are we at a point here where we're saying to Garrett, don't do that?
So George,
I just don't.
look at
where are we
the,
at?
look at the large sheet that we gave you, with the colors,
Yeah,
based on the
This guy.
current proposed operating budget. And based off of our estimates on revenues, not taking into consideration our capital projects, the tax rate may go up $1.15. If
okay,
we move the vehicle from capital to an operating, a lease, that is going to increase further. we're already looking at a potential dollar plus increase.
And the leasing option puts it in the capital? or-
No, the leasing option puts it in the operating.
Okay, so that's why I was asking, does that mean it's?
It has to be in the operating, and so that's why I'm just saying, is the finance committee
Okay,
okay
that's,
with proposing a budget that
that's what we have. to
increases the
decide.
rate even more?
Thank you.
It increases the rate and pushes us closer
Close to our-
in time
Into
to the levy
the
limit.
dreaded 2.5. vote,
And
yeah.
then also, we have to think about the future of a new highway garage, which
Oh, I
that,
know, not to mention all these other things that are happening. Right.
that would probably debt excluded, but you know, any of those major purchases that end up having debt service, if it's not debt excluded, then it ups your operating budget. And again, you're sneaking closer and closer to that levy
Yeah.
limit. And once that levy limit is reached, then you're going for an override.
Yeah.
That's why these towns go through cycles of overrides. We had ours back
Yeah,
in
you mentioned that,
two
that's interesting.
thousand. I can't remember the year. Time flies when you're having fun. And a few years after that, Sunderland had to go for an override again. So it's gonna be our turn again
Uh-huh.
at some point. We just have to figure out a way to
Manage
make
things,
it,
right there,
make it
yeah.
not this year or next year.
And make it not hurt as much when it comes.
Right,
Right.
so,
Most important.
Yeah.
Real estate values keep appreciating though, so that is helping to keep appreciating.
So moving us forward, it was more than 24 words. So on the personnel committee recommendation, I don't have the formal written recommendation, but the recommendation from the personnel committee was a 2.5% COLA, which is represented in the updated sheets that you all have. No out of step salary increases, so it was strictly just the COLA increase. And so the way that that's represented now is, you can now see on the comprehensive line item budget document that was given to you, the updated version. There is now personnel and general expense sub items for each of the departments that have salaries, so you can see the personnel adjustments, their rate of increase versus the general expenses. And now at the very bottom of that, when we show the total town operating budget, there are subtotals for personnel expense and general expense, so you can see where in total, where the increases are happening. So in total, for the town services, it's a 4.11% increase on personnel expense, $50,000, 51,000, and a 8.7% increase on the general expenses, or 489,000. So that the total budget is a 7.87% increase. But it is broken out, so you can now see personnel versus operating expenses.
Very helpful.
so there were no steps.
There were steps.
Oh, there were steps.
Yep, there were steps in
But
the
not
COLA,
forever.
but not out of step
Okay,
increases. Everybody,
No.
if there were increases, it was strictly because of a step or full and.
okay. So the only thing left on our agenda is, well, items not anticipated. Anybody have anything? Okay, then adjourn. All those in favor?
I
Move to adjourn the select board.
Roll. Joyce,
Oh, second. Aye.
That's all
You
right.
need, you need to
you need to roll call.
Oh, I need to roll call. Okay.
Yes.
Is moved and seconded to
Yes.
adjourn the select board. Then the roll call coming from me. Fred, you first.
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Joyce, yes.